Yesterday, I discussed pregnancy and fasting, and there are research that tells us that there's a lot of research that I read from Malaysia. It was done in Malaysia and some done in Iran that shows that actually when you are pregnant and you fast, if you are healthy, you have healthy pregnancy and your baby is healthy based on your doctor's recommendation, fasting is not going to be detrimental to the baby. It's not going to harm the baby. It doesn't have any effect on the baby, no significant effect on the baby, and it doesn't affect the birth weight as well of the baby because there's a concern of malnutrition, right? So Ramadan fasting really does not put you to starvation. Like yesterday I was saying, Ramadan fasting does not put you all the way to starvation mode because we have eating window and fasting window. Eating window is when you have suhoor, and after suhoor, there's the fasting window up until the sunset, and we eat iftar. So that's also an eating window, right? So in a way, you don't go past 24 hours without eating and drinking. We actually sometimes fast, depending on where you are, your location in the world. Sometimes you would fast 12 hours. Sometimes you might fast 16 hours. Like us in the United States, we are in the summer seasons, we sometimes fast 17 hours, 16 hours, depending on the time where you are located as well, okay? So it's kind of hard. It's really hard. Yeah, especially because of the weather as well and everything that comes together with it. So if you're a pregnant woman and you're going to be fasting in that time, in that location at that time, it's going to have a little bit of physical effect on you. Not really with the baby. It's going to really make you to actually okay. It's gonna yeah, so if you are a Muslim and you have an OBGYN or a midwife who is not a Muslim, please, yesterday I was saying it in the video that I shared, please make it clear that you explain what Ramadan fasting is to your provider. Make sure that your provider knows what Ramadan fasting is, and it's not really about you just ruling out not wanting to fast, or he's saying out of blatantly don't fast. Because even though Allah said if you are breastfeeding, you are pregnant, you are exempt to fast, but the tafsir is also explaining to us that if you are a healthy woman, have a healthy pregnancy, pregnancy in itself, honestly, is not a sickness. It's not a disease, right? It's not classified as one. So you are just pregnant. Pregnancy is a physiological event. It's just part of what our body as women is created to do, okay? However, sometimes pregnancy comes with discomfort. Okay, so there are discomforts of early pregnancy, mid-pregnancy, and post-pregnancy, and even with birth itself. So when there are those discomfort, then yeah, you are exempt to fast, because it says if you feel like fasting is gonna harm you or harm your baby. Allah did not just exempt us and say, just because you are pregnant, stop fasting. Or just because you are breastfeeding, stop fasting. But it's your choice to examine yourself, okay? To diagnose yourself and say, okay, this is my situation. And if this is my situation, is this act going to harm me or my baby? Is there a way I can go around it? If you are somebody who cannot really take it without eating, because I have been there. When I was pregnant with my twins, there was a time when I could not eat at all. So all that I can do is do my best. So if I am doing my best and I have to also fast, imagine I couldn't eat yesterday, I couldn't eat a day before. It's not even ideal, like whatever protein or fat or carbs, and on top of it, the micronutrients that I'm supposed to be having, I have not even reached my daily recommended allowance yet. And then I want to fast. Imagine what I'm doing to my body, not my baby, because my baby is going to get adequacy at least, right? My baby is going to get it. Some of the nutrients that I'm going to eat would go to baby, yes, right now, as currently that what I'm eating is going to go to baby. However, some of the things that you've ate already is also going to baby to sustain baby if mama is not adequately nourishing herself. Okay? So you have to diagnose yourself and say that, okay, as far as my doctor is diagnosing me as a healthy pregnancy, it's not a high-risk pregnancy, okay, then I am able to fast. If you are able to fast, how are you going to navigate that? Are you going to fast the whole 30 days? Are you going to intermittently fast, as in taking breaks? Maybe when you fast today and you take 2 or 3 days breaks to nourish yourself, to hydrate yourself, to rest, and then pick up from there and maybe do 1 and 2 as well, and then move on until the end of Ramadan, because Ramadan is only 30 days, right? However, pregnancy is 9 months to 10 months, right? So it's gonna come, Ramadan is gonna come and go. So if you feel like, okay, this is my situation, however, my doctor says I shouldn't, why is your doctor telling you you shouldn't? Does the doctor understand Ramadan fasting? Because we have eating window and fasting window. Are you actually a healthy pregnancy? Is your baby actually also healthy and growing as is supposed to grow? So that is the question. I am not here to say please fast or not to fast. Okay? And also in the Quran itself is stated that if you fast, it's best for you. Right? If you fast, it's best for you. So if you choose to fast, because everything is just choice. As far as you are, again, you are not a high risk and your pregnancy have been a healthy pregnancy. Yesterday, I was saying again that, first of all, how did your pregnancy start? Okay, because I shared about pregnancy, I intentionally separated it. I don't want to mix it up with breastfeeding and pregnancy, because it's kind of a difference. There's kind of a difference with the provisions and then with all of the considerations around it, right? So how did your pregnancy start? If your pregnancy started very hard, very difficult, okay, already you are not really nourishing yourself, you weren't eating adequately or ideally before you found out that you were pregnant, before you became pregnant, then how was your first trimester too? Was your first trimester a nourished period? Were you vomiting too much? Were you nauseated? Did you have symptoms, a whole lot of other symptoms of early pregnancy? If you did, then possibly you need to replenish during the time that you start to feel well. So fasting for 30 days straight, and remember, when you are pregnant, you would not be bleeding. You won't have period, right? So if you won't have period, that means you are going to fast for 29 to 30 days straight. If you're going to fast 29 to 30 days straight, how is it going to be with you physically? Okay, physically, how is it going to be with you? How is your body going to take it? And then metabolically, are you going to encourage eating the right things during your eating window? So all of those questions are the questions that you have to navigate. So if your doctor is telling you that I am not your doctor, I'm not your midwife, I cannot say anything about that. So you have to make sure that your doctor is giving you the right prescription, not out of just recommending because of not really knowing, cultural incompetence, okay? Or he's just saying it because you actually need to not fast. Okay, so there are two ways. Two things here or even more. So is your doctor really telling you not to fast because of what? Cultural incompetence? The doctor doesn't really know a lot about fasting, a lot about Ramadan fasting itself, okay? So it's up to you to explain to the doctor, really, okay? And then also, are you high risks? If you're high risk, and then also, how do you feel that your pregnancy, if you fast, is it going to harm you physically or even emotionally? Okay? Mentally. Because the food that we eat goes a long way to help us mentally. A lot of the times, I tell my clients, a lot of the times we think, oh, when we go to the therapist is going to support us and be whatever session we have, that is all that is needed. Sometimes it's true, but sometimes too, it is not. The food that you eat, the chemical reactions that it has on your body helps you mentally. So if your mama who is very deprived, who is malnourished, and she's now pregnant, how do you think she's going to feel emotionally and mentally when she have the baby? So when you have the baby, whilst the pregnancy has actually, because pregnancy is very nutritionally expensive, birth is as well the same, and postpartum, even bigger, even greater, right? So if you go through that, that's why a lot of women go through postpartum depression, because first of all, it's not actually the mental psychiatric thing going on. No, it's actually food. It's nourishment. It's food, first of all. And second, community. Okay, food, community, support, rest. And actually the support that she gets when she was giving birth, the way she gave birth, all of those things factor in, right? So if you are looking to be fasting this Ramadan, or you know somebody who is, and the doctor said no, I mean, that's up to you to actually, if you want to, otherwise, that's up to you to actually explain to the doctor and make sure that the doctor understands, and then also bring in. Because you have to, as a pregnant woman, have a, to be able to make an informed decision for yourself. So it's not just the doctor making decision for you. The doctor is not there to make decision for you. The doctor is there to support you to make better decision for yourself and for your baby. So if your doctor is telling you something just out of his decision, then mama, you are giving your power to your doctor or your midwife. You are giving the power of your unborn child to the doctor or your midwife. And what do you think when you are in the birth process, what do you think would happen? Right? The doctor is going to make decisions for you. And you hear a lot of women saying, the doctor said he's not going to allow me to. He's not going to allow me. No, your doctor doesn't have to allow you. Your doctor has to come. You and your doctor have to communicate. You have to read up. You have to be given that preposition. You have to be given that proposal of this is what the intent is for your care. Read up, research. This is what it is. This is the risk. This is the benefit. Okay, this is the alternative, and then you make decision out of your information that you have, based on your own information, and then you come in the middle with your doctor, right? So it's not a do or die thing, decision making thing. It's not an emergency. So for that, yes, you have to come in with informed decision making. You don't just have to accept, not only for Ramadan, because I'm discussing Ramadan, yes, but not only for Ramadan, for everything else that is involved with pregnancy, with everything else that is involved with your care, right? So if your doctor is saying, don't do it, why? Is he actually giving you a reason? And then is that reason also aligning with you? Right. So I'm not here to say fast or not fast. I'm just giving you what the research is saying and what the experience is with some women who have gone through it. And then, yeah, it's okay. So that's it for, I think, for Jennifer Silvera. Okay. I hope I answered your question. Okay. All right. So a nursing mother, when you come with the case of a nursing mother, breastfeeding is the primary foundational nutrition for baby. Okay. When you give birth, right away from 0 day to about 4 months or 6 months, typically, because 6 months is the actual recommended exclusive breastfeeding time frame by WHO. Okay, so 6 months, from 0 day to 6 months, is you exclusively breastfeeding. At that time, baby is really dependent on your breast milk for its nutritional demands. So breast milk at that time is very high in carbs, is very high in all the other things, is very high in hydration, right? Because that is what it's supposed to be. At that time, baby needs that. So Allah himself has made it in a way that even if mama is not eating appropriately, breast milk would not be deprived of nutrition. Breast milk would have the nutrition the baby needs. So baby is not going to be deprived. Baby is not going to have less. Only baby having less in quantity, but not in quality. Okay, baby will get the quality as much as the mother is able to make milk with the body is using her blood to make milk for baby. So baby is going to get the quality, but it's the quantity that might be hindered. Okay? So for that time, yes, you are exclusively breastfeeding. You have not introduced formula to your child. You are pumping and feeding the baby as well. At that time, yes. You also, because you just gave birth, you need to heal and recover appropriately. Because you need the nutrition to heal. You need the nutrition to recover. And at that same time, a lot of mamas would be in their nifas, right? They will have their postnatal bleeding, right? So you are having your postnatal bleeding, you don't fast, right? So only if your postnatal bleeding is done, the lochia. If it is done, then yeah, fasting and now salat has become obligatory on you. But it depends on the stage of that breastfeeding and the age of the baby that you're going to say, okay, is it now becoming obligatory or not? Okay. Even WHO has stated that around that 4 months to 6 months, if you are exclusively breastfeeding, at that time, if baby is sitting, our baby is showing interest in food and all of those things, solids can be started. You can start feeding baby one single food, right? One ingredient food, right? You can start solids, okay? So when you start solids, baby have started like trying with tastes and stuff. That does not make baby automatically to not depend on your milk foundationally, like wholly. Because at that time, even when you start solids, baby is not depending on solids for its nutrition. Baby is still depending on your food for it, your milk for its nutrition. It's just baby trying on food to just introduce food to the baby, right? So if your lochia is done, is finished, if you are no more having any postnatal bleeding, then you have to start thinking about how you want to do it based on your health as well. If you think that your health will be in danger, if you feel like you are not very well physically, then yes, because that is being stated in the Quran. Okay, if you have fear, if you are fearful of your health, if you are fearful that fasting is going to harm you or harm your baby, right? So if you are still fearful of your action harming your baby or harming yourself, then yeah, fasting has not started to become obligatory on you, because you still need to heal. You still have lochia, or you don't have lochia, but you are recovering. You have not recovered yet, finished yet. Especially for if you have maybe belly birth, cesarean, and C-section, it's hard for you to recover as fast as possible, right? So yeah, at that time, you make the decision whether it is beneficial for you to actually fast or not. And based on your provider as well, based on your care provider, and making sure the care provider knows all of those things, right? However, if you are breastfeeding and formula, you introduce formula, and formula is the primary nutrition for baby, breastfeeding is a supplementary food, fasting is now obligatory on you. You have to fast. There's no two ways about it. At that time, baby is not dependent on your milk for nutrition. Baby is now dependent on formula, because you're giving baby formula more, and breastfeeding is something that comes to supplement. No matter how old the baby is, even if the baby is 1 month or 2 months or 5 months, and you have introduced formula, and formula is the primary food, primary nutrition, and breastfeeding is a supplement, you must fast. Because at that time, you can intermittent feed the baby. You are not actually feeding the baby every hour, every 2 hours. And your body does not really require that much calorie, that much nutrition to feed the baby, right? So during the fasting window, yeah, you can choose not to feed the baby, because already that might be your schedule, right? And then during the eating window, you feed the baby. Baby has the formula already. However, if you are not a formula feeding family, okay, if you are not feeding your baby formula, you are exclusively feeding baby with your breast milk, then yes, up until the time baby starts solids or is about to start solids, that's when you start to determine whether fasting is going to be beneficial for you. Because fasting already is beneficial for our body, right? Except that because it's conditional, your situation is conditional. So Allah himself has exempted, right? So when you hit 6 months and you start introducing solids, or 4 months, depending on your baby, depending on your baby, right? Subhanallah. Okay. Depending on your baby, from 6 months to 1 year is the recommended by WHO to actually breastfeed, and then bring in solids, right? So you start solids from 6 months up to a year, and baby is feeding your breast milk, and then he is using solids as an introductory food, but not as a nutritional foundational food, right? Right? So in that case, like I explained, you are going to determine if you have healed already, if you are going to protect the supply. If you are pumping, pump when you are actually in the feeding window. When you are eating, after you feed the baby, pump. And then feed the baby later with the pumped milk, right? So you can fast. The issue of fasting a lot of the times is divided. Some women actually have like a strong opinion of, I want to fast. I cannot miss my fast. Even if I can do it like one by one and not all in chunk, I will do it, because I don't want to fall pregnant again and then find myself not fasting and then piling on all the fasts from previous 2 years, from being pregnant, and then fasting 2 missed years, and then another year you fall pregnant, and the next year you fall pregnant. So women actually are like, no, I really want to fast. I really want to fast, right? And some women will be like, no way, I will not even try it, right? For that, both, I don't know. That's the scholar's question, as in whether it's really the ideal or not. You go and ask your doctor, as in, your scholar, as in it's becoming your obligation or not. But I'm telling you what the research is saying, and I'm also telling you what it makes sense out of, right? Okay. So if you feel like you want to fast, fine. If you don't feel like you want to fast, make sure that you are not neglecting the obligation from you. Okay? You are not neglecting the obligation. All right? Even there was a case where a sister was asking when she was in her labor, and because she has not started bleeding yet, she was just in her early labor. It's getting a little intense for her, and then second stage of labor, it was getting intense for her. She's not actually bleeding. She hasn't started pushing. She hasn't done nothing. No third stage of second stage of labor, and the case of Salat came up, as in that she really have to pray, because Salat is obligatory, right? And some scholars say yes, she has to pray. The prayers is obligation on is obligatory on her. See, as far as she's in labor, and labor doesn't negate Salat, okay? She can sit and pray. She can lie in bed and pray. Whatever position she can do to pray, she can. So in that case, the way that a sick person will pray, she will do that. She has to do that and remember to pray Zuhur, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, Fajr. She has to remember and pray up until when she starts pushing and she starts bleeding, and that time Loki has started and she's not obligated to pray. So it's almost the same case as in, because this is fiqh, right? This is like really the scholars expertise. It's not my expertise, but because I engage with a lot of women, I have to know these kind of things, right? And I'm a woman too, right? So I have to be informed about my rights and my obligations, okay? I don't just have to handle it over to somebody to do the work for me and to do the research for me. I have to do the research for myself and to be very informed and knowledgeable about my own body, my own responsibilities that comes with the body that Allah has created me in, right? So yeah, it's very, very important that as women, we do that for ourselves. We don't just sit and say, oh, this is it, and generalizing things. Like we generalize and it's not of help for us. It's not beneficial for us. But when we look for individualized, even with care, right? Even with medical care, we always ask for individualized care, right? It has to be personalized, individualized care. So when it comes to Islam, we also have to personalize and individualize it in ways. As in not saying that this doesn't it's just the general thing everybody does. So no, we have to treat it as I am an individual person and this is my situation. Does this apply to me? Does this not apply to me? How am I going to do the research and know more about it? Even if a sheikh is telling me, even if you can ask those questions, yes, but you want to also critically ask those questions, critically answer the questions for yourself as it applies to you. Okay, so for the third stage of breastfeeding is when baby is about 1 year, and at that time baby has established a lot of ways to eat, okay, feeding, okay. So at that time baby has started solids. Baby is now very, very versed with food, accepting food, and it's not primarily dependent on your breast milk only. So baby is eating, even if it is a single ingredient food, baby is eating, and baby is getting all the nutrition from those solid foods, and it's also supplementing with breast milk. That time your breast milk has become a supplement. And like I said, you're gonna go back again and feed the baby with the solids, feed the baby with anyhow he is getting their primary nutrition. And then when you are not fasting, around the feeding window or eating window, you feed your baby or you pump. The fasting window, you feed the baby with the foundational food that now baby is eating. So from around 1 year, or even some women, it starts early, at around 6 months or 7 months, because baby has started eating solids, right? Baby has started establishing a lot of their tastes with solids and getting a chunk of their nutrition from solids. So at that time, yes, even if you are breastfeeding but baby is eating solids, you are fasting has started being obligatory on you. You have to fast, right? You have to fast, all right? So from 1 year is typically the time that, yes, fasting. because a lot of us women, we want to fast, we want to breastfeed up until 2 years. For me, I breastfed my girls, my twin girls, I breastfed them up until 2 years. The very day they became 2 years old, we were working on weaning up until they got to 2 years. My daughter, she really didn't want to wean. We went through a lot of emotional roller coaster with weaning, right? But it's not because of fasting. It's just because of what I assigned to myself, that when we hit 2 years, I am going to end it, because I have been feeding two babies at the same time for 2 years, and I need a little bit of rest. I was also in school doing my graduate level education. It's kind of like hard for me. Yeah, physically, emotionally, and mentally. So I'm like, okay, I am very enjoying this. My girl really never wanted to stop. My other girl, she is okay because she's eating a lot of other things. She's enjoying food. She's not very concerned about it. When she gets it, she's fine. And then my other girl, the only thing she wants is to just feed and feed and feed. So I have to actually bring in the father, and he was the liaison between us, and he really actually supported me to get away a little bit, and then he took over for my girl to actually feel a little better, because the same way I was emotionally drained, she was emotionally drained too. The only thing she knows is her feeding from mama, right? From the day she was born, is her feeding her mom from her mama. So just cold turkeying her and taking her off can be hard for her too. So doing it in a very gentle way is absolutely good. Right, so anyways, we are not talking about weaning. We're talking about, yeah, so it's just by the way. Right, so basically that's what it is, okay? If you are in any of these stages and you feel like, okay, am I actually going to fast or not? Again, going back again to ask yourself, what is your status health-wise? Okay, if you are physically there, emotionally there, and all of that, then yes, why not? Okay, so there are factors that affect milk supply. Okay, so one of the factors I mentioned is inadequate nutrition, right? So that's the concern about, yeah, when I start fasting, it's going to affect my supply. Yes, if you are not very strategic with it, it's going to affect your supply. Okay, if you are not very strategic, because one thing about breastfeeding is a supply and demand case. If there is a supply, baby's there, baby's feeding, yes, you are ready also there, also ready to feed the baby. So you are always removing milk, whether it's through direct latching or pumping. Absolutely, absolutely, you are going to maintain your supply. But if baby is there and mama is not removing milk, then yes, it's gonna impact the supply. Okay, it's gonna impact the supply, it's gonna affect the supply. So in a way, if mama chooses to fast, whether the baby is in the early stages, in the newborn stage, or if the baby is not in the newborn stage, that should be a strategic thing to do, okay? If you want to fast, and you are in the stage, the 6 months to a solid stage, 6 months to 1 year stage, and you are concerned about your supply, there are so many things that you can do. Some other very key things that you can do. You make sure that you are removing milk when you are not fasting. Okay, when you are not fasting. So your eating window, I say that again and again and again. Your feeding window or your eating window would be from iftar up until suhoor, after suhoor. So from after suhoor, you are not able to fast. That's the fasting window, right? You are not able to eat. That's the fasting window. So when you also break your fast from iftar up until suhoor time and you eat suhoor, that is your eating window. You eat as much as you want. You also prioritize the main things that support breast milk quality and quantity. Quality is actually what you eat, from what you eat. And then also, because I mentioned breast milk will be quality from the first newborn stage up until when baby starts to eat solids, right? So the quality is going to be there, except that some micronutrients will not be present if you are not eating adequately, or you are not supplementing, or you are not pushing yourself with what your body actually is telling you it needs. Like omega-3 fatty acids is not very present. DHA is not very present. It's not adequate in breast milk. So mama, if she's concerned, mama needs to supplement with DHA. Iron as well is also not adequate in breast milk, especially in the early stages. So you need to supplement with iron for adequacy. Vitamin D, for instance, is also one of the nutrients, one of the micronutrients that breast milk would need a little bit of supplementation, okay? So if your breast milk, if you are deficient in vitamin D, likelihood that your breast milk would also be deficient in adequate vitamin D for baby. So you either supplement, so you feed the baby, or you consult with your doctor or the pediatrician of the child to supplement for the child, right? Okay. So factoring in that, the supply and the demand factor, you giving baby directly latching, okay, when you are not fasting, and then when you are fasting, baby doesn't engage with nursing, is gonna help to maintain that all the time. And then also pumping. If you are on with pumping, it's a good idea. It's a good strategy to add to actually pump, so you can empty out. You can empty out the milk, so you would be able to make a whole lot more. Yesterday, I was also saying that the fact that you are breastfeeding, there is a time, typically around midnight, almost going to early morning, around 3:34, is when prolactin is being produced a lot more in nursing mother. Okay, so if you are up for it, because that would be the time for suhoor. That would be the time for suhoor. You breastfeed baby. Baby is also full and fed and content. Then you can pump as well. And then you're going to get a lot more out. You empty out. And after eating your suhoor, if baby is up for it too, you feed baby. And that goes to always increase that supply for you. So you would not impact your breast milk supply. Removal. If you don't remove it, you will lose it. Okay. So first of all, that is one thing. So far, do you have any question? If you have any question, let me know. If not, I will move on with what I'm saying. I am already about 1 hour, so some few minutes to an hour, and then I will call it a day because it's zuhur time. Okay, So I don't see any question. I should move on. Should I move on? Okay. So that's one of the factors that impact the milk supply. The second aspect is inadequate calorie intake. Okay. Inadequate calorie intake. All right. So if you are not nutritionally balancing, nutritionally feeding yourself, giving yourself adequate nutrition, it's gonna affect your milk supply. Some studies show that mommy's nutrition doesn't affect the milk, the milk nutritional value, right? But again, there is a strong correlation between that with other research. That yes, whatever mama eats, it's really makes a difference, right? So, like I said, your body would make milk for baby based on your nutrition status. It's gonna make a quality milk based on your nutritional status. It's not gonna deprive the baby. Okay, so if you are very, very nutritionally balanced person, you balance your nutrition, you are very healthy and all of that, your nutritional status with your milk will be different from somebody who is also not balancing, who is not nutritionally well, right? The person will make the milk and it's gonna be balanced for the baby. Your milk will be balanced for your baby. However, because you are balanced, yes, it's going to be balanced for that baby, right? For that person who you gave birth to, because that's specialized way of serving baby. Your body is going to serve it, right? It's going to provide whatever it's supposed to be provided for. And it's going to do the same thing for a mama who is also not nutritionally balanced, not adequate. She's not taking adequate nutrition, right? But still, baby is gonna be okay. Except that there are certain micronutrients that might be missing. Even if a woman is nutritionally balanced and she's not prioritizing micronutrients, also, she might have some deficiencies in that. She might have a little bit of, not deficiency, she might have a little bit of her levels in the milk will be a little bit less than if she is strategizing and supplementing or eating that more in her diet. Okay, so inadequate calorie intake can affect your milk supply. So that is why breastfeeding during fasting is a concern for some women, as in, oh, because I am not going to be eating as much during the fasting window, I'm not going to be hydrating as much during the fasting window, so I am concerned, right? But you can, as I said, you can strategize that, right? You can actually eat a lot of what you need to eat, hydrate during the non-fasting time window, and go on with not feeding baby in the fasting window, okay? And when baby is being fed with the pumped milk, that should suffice, right? Because you have capitalized on pumping during the time your body is making more prolactin and you are actually getting more milk removed, and your body is going to make more where baby is actually there and you are not fasting, baby is feeding, you're going to make even more milk, right? Okay. So inadequate calorie intake, lack of removal of milk, consistent removal of milk also affects or impacts your breast milk. And yes, nursing frequency. So the more you like I said, demand and supply. So the more you feed, the more baby is demanding, the more your body would supply it. Okay, so if baby is there demanding, your body will make more. It's like a tap. It's like a faucet. Like faucet. The faucet, when you don't go open it, there's no water. And you go open it a little bit, right? It's only a little bit of water that comes out. But if you go open it all the way, it's going to open all the way. So it's the same thing. If baby is there, just a little window time, you will not be able to make a lot of milk because your baby is not demanding it. And your body will not make it for nobody to not eat it, right? So if your baby is constantly on and or you are actually pumping constantly, adequately, frequently, then your body would be like, oh, there is a customer. Like I have also made that analogy of a restaurant, right? So a restaurant will make some dishes more because there is that demand for it. They will make this maybe a wrap or chicken wrap more because people buy it more. People want that more. It's the favorite of people. So if there is no demand for it, they won't make more of it. They will just make a little bit and see if it goes fast and then make a little bit after that, right? So it's the same thing as with nursing. If your baby is there latching on, suckling and breastfeeding and nursing and all of those things, yeah, your body would make more. All right. All right. So basically that's it. Inadequacy of the frequency of nursing can also help to boost up your milk, and also your stress status. Your stress status significantly affect your supply. So if you are stressed, there is so much going on. You are also stressed with Ramadan because you are cooking, you are cleaning, you're taking care of everybody else, and you are taking care of baby, making milk, and taking care of yourself. That is stressful enough. It's going to impact your milk. Because as much as you are stressed, you won't even get that enough time to actually sit and relax for the oxytocin. The oxytocin is the happy hormone that is being produced, okay, when you are breastfeeding. It helps with the letdown of milk. It helps with the actual oozing when you open the faucet. That helps that. But prolactin helps with the mammary gland and everything else to produce the milk. And then oxytocin helps with the letting down of the milk. So if you are stressed, that means your body is producing a lot of stress hormones. And stress hormones hinder the production of the relaxation hormones. And one of the relaxation hormones that you need to even get breast milk, the milk to be producing more, is oxytocin. So if you stress and you are not very relaxed when you sit down to nurse baby, you are tensed unconsciously or consciously, your body is not going to make enough. Your body will not make enough, right? So stress is a very big factor for reduced milk supply. So in Ramadan, if you are going to nurse and you think that is there is so much to do, you are already doing so much. Your body is already doing so much. Okay, your body is already doing so much. So pick what is more priority. Pick what is more priority and attend to that. The priority is the baby, making sure that baby is fed. And the priority is you, making sure that you are fed during the feeding window. Okay? Right. Okay. So I'm going to take a little bit of rest and then move on to the next one, and then I'll be done with this live to go and pray. Okay. So I want to also mention maybe next about what you can prioritize when you are fasting. Some of the foods that you can prioritize when you are fasting and nursing your baby. First of all, hydration is very important. I mentioned that very little briefly. Hydration is very, very important for your body if you are not even nursing and you are fasting. Like an average ordinary person fasting, you need hydration for your body to be sustained from all the what's fasting during the day brings to you, right? So hydration is important when you are not even pregnant or breastfeeding. And it's even more important when you are breastfeeding. So prioritizing hydration is important. How do you prioritize hydration? Like I said, during the time you are fasting, you are not able to drink. You are not able to eat. You are not able to do nothing. The time that you take iftar is the time that you hydrate. So hydration doesn't only mean drinking water. You can drink water, yes, but chugging in water will go through your body and come out like you've never even drank water, right? So how do you prioritize that to actually be utilized in your body so your body can use it? Your body can use it adequately for the purpose of why it is being used. You prioritize the mineral-rich liquids, the soups and the broth. That is what you have to prioritize. And then you make sure that water is available to you when you are going to sleep. Water is available to you when you sit to nurse the baby during your eating window. And water is available to you when you actually finish suhoor. Right away when you finish suhoor. So you are drinking the broth, you are sipping on the smoothies, and you are eating the soups, and you are drinking the water. So it should be just that all the time, okay? You prioritize that a lot. Making sure that when you break your fast, there is, when you break your fast with dates, right? You eat the date and you drink the water. You eat some fruits, maybe cantaloupe or honeydew or watermelon is rich in water. Then you go and pray. When you go and pray, or you drink your broth if you have broth. And then you go and pray Maghrib. After praying Maghrib, you have the broth, you've not eaten it, you drink it. Or you have your own iftar that you want to eat it, and make sure you have the soup and the broth. There shouldn't be absence of soup when you are breastfeeding and fasting. There should be soup, so make those soups. Let somebody make it, the in-laws, the cousins, the husbands, if they are up for it. Or yeah, that's the system that you have for your family. Make them do that. And you drink it. Soups should be available. You drink it. When you finish eating your suhoor, you make some smoothie. Okay, smoothie would contain some vegetables, will contain some fruits, and will contain some carbs. Okay, hopefully you add protein as well because you need that protein to balance your blood sugar. And you're gonna be drinking it. If it is a tarawih, you drink it and you go and do your tarawih. If it is not that, you drink it and you take a rest, or you do your chores, whatever it is, you continue with it, okay? Yeah, so you continue with it, all right? So when you eat your dinner, if you have that space to eat your dinner, because the food is going to digest after a little bit, and you have fed your baby right away after Maghrib, right? You have fed your baby after Maghrib, you would take your dinner. So when you eat your dinner, you make sure you drink water. So about 2 cups of water is good. You drink it, you sip it, and you take your snack after Taraweeh, and you drink even more water. You wake up for suhoor, actually. You don't sit and not eat suhoor. Because even by the sunnah, suhoor is highly recommended by the Prophet ﷺ, right? So you wake up and eat suhoor because your body needs that constant calorie supply. It needs that. So you're gonna wake up and have a full meal that contains protein, that contains fat, that contains carbs, that's the fiber, and that's what you're gonna do. Okay, and that's what you're gonna do, and you drink that. So making sure that you're drinking at least 8 cups of water alongside the smoothies, alongside the soups. Awesome. Okay, and one main thing that I want to also mention is when you have your baby, some women, their doctors or their midwives or their care providers, don't tell them to continue taking their prenatal vitamins. Taking your prenatal vitamins if you are breastfeeding is such a game changer. It's going to fill in the gaps for you, and it's also going to support you, the milk in a way, and it helps with energy. So you want to continue taking your prenatal. This are things that I share with my paying clients. So if I'm here doing the live and some people are here just misbehaving, you are wasting your time, okay? You are misbehaving publicly. You are actually disgracing yourself, okay? All right. So, yeah, you take the prenatal vitamins, and it helps with energy. It helps with energy. It helps with repletion, and all the B vitamins are there because the B vitamins help with the cellular. It helps your cells produce energy. Okay, so taking the prenatal vitamins, continue taking it, is very important. Or you can actually get a postnatal vitamin if you want to by reading and making sure that there's no much difference between the postnatal and prenatal vitamins. If there's much difference and you still have your prenatal, why not? You should just continue to take it. It's a game changer for you. All right? So basically that's it. I feel like I'm tired with talking already, and because my mind is just all into like it's past the whole, let me get up and go. So if you have any question, you can let me know. When you come and watch the replay and you have questions, please come put it in the comment section and I would answer it. But right now, if you have any question, I see some few people on. If you do have a question, let me know. If you don't, I'll call it a day, inshallah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I will stay for a little bit and see if anybody wants to ask a question. If not, then I will. Okay. Yeah. So waiting. If anybody comes and asks questions, I still see some few people on here with me. If you have any question, let me know. And then you can also let me know if this life has been beneficial to you. I know that it is going to be beneficial to mamas who need this information, actually. So, yeah. Okay. Some few more minutes and I will turn it off. Okay. Okay. So I think I'm in the 80th minute, and I have taken a little bit of rest from talking for more than an hour, and I am going to call it a day, inshallah. If you have any question, you can leave it in the comments. If you want to share it with other sisters who need this, do that as well. And yeah, do that as well, because I know some women, a lot of women will need this information. This is beautiful information that I know supports a lot of women who I engage with, who I work with, and I have given some, even though it's kind of like a general broad thing. It's not specific to you, but it's a lot of information to gather and also make use of it. Okay, so whatever you do, make sure that you are being an informed patient. Whatever you do, make sure you are an informed patient. You are not just accepting things and generalizing things for yourself. You are actually choosing things for yourself. You are involved in the decision making for your care and for your unborn baby's care. All right. So yeah. And then also remember, this is Islam. Islam is meant to be easy. It's not meant to be hard. It's meant to be easy and for the people, okay? Peaceful, easy, and for the people. So anything that is harmful is not Islam. Anything that is demeaning is not Islam. Anything that is not peaceful is not Islam. Okay, so anything that strains you and makes you to question beyond what you are giving answers to in Islam is not Islam. All right. So, in as much as possible, as a pregnant woman or a nursing mother, you try to make decisions based on what I have shared before by using the brain. You use your brain as in figurative, okay? Using the brain is the B is the benefit. What benefit does fasting bring to you now that you are breastfeeding? Is it the time? Is it, benefit? And the benefit for you, for the baby. The future benefit, the current benefit. And R is the risks. When you fast, are you really physically impacted? Is my baby physically impacted? Is my supply going to impact? Do I now know the strategies that I can use, I can bring in to supply me with the adequacy that I need in my body that is going to ultimately impact my milk supply? Now I know, so I'm going to do better, right? Or now I don't know, even I know, maybe I cannot really cope with it. So are you going to do that because you have informed decision, right? And then the A is the alternative. Alternative means if you are now going to directly latch the baby and feed the baby, are you going to consider pumping? Are you already pumping? Are you going to consider alternative feeding methods? Maybe solids, maybe not, or whatever. That's up to you, okay? And for the I is the intuition. So what are you, what is your gut feeling? What are you really feeling about doing that? And then if your gut feeling is telling you, is it really from emotions or is it really from an informed place? Okay? All right. Informed, sincere place. Okay? In your heart and in your gut. And the N is, do you want to just wait until Ramadan starts and see how it goes? Are you going to really wait for a few days into Ramadan and see your energy levels and see your supply? Are you going to also start maybe intermittently, do today, because you have options to do today and take some days off and then continue the following day and take some days off and continue the following. Are you going to do that, right? So that is the end. You're going to just consider doing it now, never, or maybe later, okay? So one thing, the last thing I want to mention, I didn't mention about some of the strategies is making use of in-between snacks, okay? So you're making snacks. I have a video that I have shared, triple chocolate, the chocolate banana loaf. It's very, very, very dense. It's very beautiful, rich and high in protein. It has a whole bunch of other micronutrients in it, all the minerals in it, and it's pretty delicious. It's very delicious. It's one of the things that can be considered as a lactation boosting food. Okay, so if you are interested in making anything like that, you can check it out. I'm gonna share it in the description, or you can check my video tabs and get it. Okay, it's very awesome. So you can eat those kind of things, and that can help with the supply and the nutritional profile of your milk as well. All right. Okay, so I think I will finally say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. All right.